Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Today's subject takes a look at whether the UK bikers are thinking bikers or not. Are they capable of thinking their way along the dangerous roads of the UK today? And to clarify this, we must take information from the highest appointed voice within the UK's self-proclaimed #1 motorcycle advanced rider training group known as IAM Road Smart. It is within their own internally produced training documents known as the Associate Logbook do they spell out their so-called expert advice on how UK riders are to think in relation to speeding and road speed signs. I shall in this video highlight that any IAM Road Smart rider is not a thinking rider at all, never has been and never will be, unless this particular institute changes from within. And if you're new to this channel, then welcome, but don't forget to like and subscribe and take a look at my other videos as they're often interlinked and focused upon road safety advice for your pleasure. So, let's get to it. This publication, the logbook, was written by an ex-police driver, not an author, known as Richard Gladman, and is full of mistakes throughout, and please see my other video on this poor publication via the link in the description below. In the back of this book there are a few pages, a column if you wish, written by the IAM's appointed Chief Examiner. I won't bore you with his name, but needless to say, he is ex-police and I believe was maybe a Chief Inspector or higher and responsible for the motorcycle division when the UK police actually used to have enough motorcycles to patrol with, as opposed to displaying at fetes and fairs and children's schools for recruitment purposes only. And firstly, what we'll do is ignore the left hand column as it's just a very long intro. We'll start at the top right hand column where the story starts of how to become a thinking biker. He writes, imagine riding along an unfamiliar country road towards a left hand bend with a high hedgerow on both sides. A comfortable road for two lorries to pass each other, and this would suggest that your lane is at least 3 yards wide. He states the road is virtually straight, allowing you to travel at 60 miles per hour. However, his embellishment goes on to identify it's now a blind left bend. The centre line indicates a hazard and oncoming vehicles prevent you from riding near to the white line. This position would have you in what the old school police would say is position 4, which simply doesn't exist in the Associate Logbook, but just right of centre would be suffice. He goes on to say it's June and the foliage is overgrown, and having reduced your speed to around 40 miles per hour, you enter the bend up to the point where it begins to straighten, and having raised your eyes you look ahead and notice houses on either side of the road about 100 yards away. As you begin to accelerate, boom! A hidden 30-mile-an-hour speed limit appears from within the foliage, and now he says you have two choices. That's it. This is where the Chief Examiner's expertise begins to teach you all about being a thinking biker. So let's go. He goes on to ask, do you A. operate the brakes to an emergency stop level, which would just about bring you down to 30 miles an hour, preventing you from breaking the law, because the law is the law? Or option B, would you brake more progressively, overrunning the speed limit by say 20 yards to be a little bit safer? That's it. That's your choices. That's what a thinking biker has got left. And it was at this time I thought that anyone in the IAM with any knowledge of being a thinking biker and with diligence would have deleted this column, because there is no evidence of a thinking biker at all. This scenario is displaying what is termed a reactive rider. A rider who relies upon animal instinct to react to what they see only when they see it, as opposed to a proactive rider who actively searches for detailed information in the right place at the right time for long enough to preempt any surprises and have enough time to adjust their riding to suit prior to the situation becoming such that any emergency braking would be required. And it's fair to say that from the rest of the Chief Examiner's column, that after his 40 years or so, he unfortunately still doesn't understand what a thinking biker is. So let's play back this scenario again from a proactive thinking biker's point of view. You are on an unfamiliar road and you're thinking you must expect the unexpected at any time. We could suggest that as an adult riding a motorcycle, let's say you are mid-aged through a potential career span from the age of 20 to 60 riding motorcycles. So let's say you're 40 years of age and you've had 20 years of public road experience. So you have a lot of knowledge and experience that you can preempt likelihood of things that might be. So you're making sense of all that you can see, what we can see and what we can't see, and from this experience what you can preempt is possible. So what information has the Chief Examiner given? Firstly, a broken white line where the gaps between the lines are shorter than the lines themselves, which indicates a hazard area. So you're questioning yourself straight away, what is this hazard? Is it the straight road? Is it the speed limit of 60 miles an hour? Is it the bend ahead? Or the houses beyond the bend that you've preempted from experience that might exist? And if you cannot identify what the hazard is, you would consider to slow your speed on approach to the bend until you can ascertain what it is and adjust your riding to suit. In this case, let's just accept it is the left-hand bend, which you have looked at the white divide line of the bend to identify any excessive wear of the white paint, which would indicate oncoming traffic's tendency of crossing that line during their exit and negotiation of. It's quite a common phenomena, and as stated, you have reduced your speed, as he says, to 40 miles an hour and are riding slightly right of centre. You are aware of the overgrown foliage as it's visually abundant, and having lifted your vision, searched out and identified the houses either side of the road that you preempted could be there. The question you're asking is this a hamlet, a small group of houses? Or is it the outskirts of a small village or town? Can I see any street lights posted? And if there's no street lights evident, there can be no speed reduction signs posted by the council. That's in another video. Will there be any movement of cars from driveways, dog walkers, children around, or mobile business vans parked oddly and awkwardly? The distance to the houses, he says, is only 100 yards, so any increase in speed is potentially unwarranted, as it is courteous to reduce speed through hamlets even when there is no speed reduction signs posted. But having seen the houses, it should always be anticipated of a speed reduction sign to be posted, and a proactive rider will actively search them out in spite of the overgrown foliage before accelerating towards the houses. And prior to entering the bend, a proactive rider would have also checked the mirrors for following traffic to be aware that should you need to slow it down on exit, considerations of safety are already on board. Having not yet seen any speed reduction signs, the brakes would be covered by extending the fingers over the brake levers and ready with the foot in preparation should they be required. From looking in the likely areas, a sign could be seen and brakes instantly applied in a progressive manner in a bid to achieve the 30 mile an hour posted. Having previously covered the brakes, therefore halving the braking time, there would be no need to brake at an emergency level and remain safe at all times. The remainder of this column continues to alter the circumstances which simply amplify and underline the Chief Examiner is talking about further situations about the reactive rider's choice. Unfortunately, the IM do not teach anything like this. They advertise they coach, but have no qualified coaches as observers. So after observing your riding, they simply ask you to refer to the social logbook which they gave you, to read of what is written about what you should think. This is simply adult rote methods of learning. The IM is simply teaching you what to think, not how to think. Being a proactive rider is far safer than being an IAM certificate pass holder. Unfortunately, there aren't many thinking riders within the IM, but it's not your fault. You're exactly how society decided you would be, and that's another video all in itself. So what's the conclusion, I hear you ask? Firstly, understand the difference between what thinking really is. Remembering what someone wrote isn't thinking, that's remembering. Thinking is in the moment. It is organic to the immediate environment. It is taking control of your thinking process. It is primal. The difference between the hunter and the hunted. It is your riding survival skill, which is another video all in itself. So there we have it. After over 60 years of private business, the IM still do not understand what a thinking biker really is. And let me know what you think about as you ride. And does your proactive thinking save the day? Or do you prefer to react as you ride? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, think safe, ride safe, and I hope to see you being more proactive on the next bend. Bye for now.